If I'm saying all those guys included, then obviously John and Anderson are on that Mount Rushmore. Right. But I don't do that. I refused it.
Jon Jones asked UFC for $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall, then pulled out 2 days after they agreed. He didn't think it would come up with the number, and they did. Saudi Arabia was involved. He was hoping they wouldn't meet the number.
He priced himself out of the Ngannou fight, and he thought that strategy would work again, but apparently they met the $30 million, and then Jon, a couple days later, did the retirement thing and said he wasn't going to fight.
The real thing is Jon's rich right now, right? He's already a millionaire. It's going to be nice to have an extra 30, but the reality is he's rich right now, and he doesn't have to take...
When you talk about greatness in mixed martial arts, Jon Jones is a name that instantly comes up. His resume is stacked with world championships, title defenses, and victories over legendary opponents. But while many analysts, fans, and fighters call him the greatest of all time, there's one man who refuses to put Jones in that category, and that's his longtime rival, former UFC double champion Daniel Cormier. Cormier has made it clear that in his eyes, Jon Jones' legacy will always carry an asterisk.
Far the most talented person that we've had in mixed martial arts.
Not because of lack of skill, not because of poor performances, but because of the cloud of performance-enhancing drugs that have surrounded Jones throughout his career. And for DC, that single factor disqualifies Jones from ever being considered the GOAT of MMA. Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones shared one of the most bitter rivalries in combat sports history. Their feud wasn't just about competition inside the octagon. It extended into press conferences, interviews, and even personal insults. The two fought twice. First at UFC 182 in 2015.
Demetrius Johnson.
Okay.
George St. Pierre.
Okay.
Khabib. Khabib was undefeated. Nobody beat him. Fourth, God, that's where it gets tough. That's where it gets tough. Because you feel like you want to put, like, when we talk about just accomplishments, no one's more accomplished than Amanda Nunes.
Right.
Can I really put her on the Mount Rushmore of fighting? But George, Demetrius, Khabib, God, there's some good guys. Chuck Liddell was good, man. Chuck Liddell's kind of responsible for us being here. Randy Couture won 2 titles in his bracket. I think that 4th place would belong to one of those guys. I think somebody like that, because I would never put myself up there.
Right.
But I'm like right in that 4 to 7 range.
Yeah, I thought you might put Anderson.
Where Jones handed Cormier his first professional loss, and then again at UFC 214 in 2017. That second fight was supposed to be redemption for Cormier, but it ended in heartbreak. Jones knocked him out with a devastating head kick, only for the result to later be overturned to a no contest after. Jones tested positive for the steroid. For Cormier, that was the breaking point. Losing was one thing, but losing to someone who wasn't competing clean? That, in his eyes, erased. Cormier has repeated this sentiment many times.
Who knows who's going to be on the card, or what the main event will be, or who will hold all the titles, and everything could be completely different. So it's not even worth thinking about it right now.
Jon Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him like coming back and potentially winning that belt again? And you might have to go through.
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I mean, you know how I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially the White House card.
Most recently when asked if he'd include Jon Jones in his personal list of the all-time greats. His answer was direct. From DC's perspective, greatness isn't just about wins and belts. It's about integrity, discipline, and respecting the sport. While Jones has unmatched talent and fight IQ, Cormier insists that those qualities are overshadowed by the stain of PED usage. Jones's history with anti-doping violations is well documented. He has failed multiple tests over the years, including the infamous positive result before UFC 214. Later, there were cases where trace amounts of banned substances were found in his system.
Dana, there's been so much speculation about the White House card. Is there anything that Jon could do where you could say, okay, I actually trust him to put him on that card?
The White House just seems like such a huge opportunity.
Let me ask you, what do you think
John would do that would make me trust putting him on the White House card?
I would not trust him, but I would like to see him fight Aspinall on that card.
At this level at the White House, it just means the world to me. So I'm back.
If I had to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 that I put Jon Jones on the White House.
Leading to controversy over whether they were remnants of past usage or fresh violations. The UFC and USADA often had to defend Jones, claiming that certain tests reflected pulsing effects rather than new ingestion. But to fighters like Cormier, who prided themselves on competing clean, these explanations weren't enough. DC argues that the GOAT conversation should only include fighters who've never been caught or linked to PEDs, such as
all the time. And everybody they jump to it. But it's like, he wants to stay relevant.
Right.
He wants to stay in the news. He wants the notoriety of being Conor McGregor without having to be Conor McGregor.
Right.
And that kind of sucks because when he was the man, I bet you tapped in.
Oh,
I bet you tapped into the UFC more than ever.
Because he could sell a fight.
Georges St-Pierre, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva before his own failed test, and even Fedor Emelianenko. But for critics like Cormier, none of that outweighs the fact that he tested positive for banned substances. To him, GOAT status requires not just victories, but clean victories. Cormier puts it bluntly, the moment you cheat, you're out of the conversation. You can still be great, you can still be talented, but you can't be the greatest of all time. Part of what makes Cormier's stance so strong is the personal pain tied to his rivalry with Jones. For years, he chased Jones, only to be beaten twice, once legitimately.
They offered him $40 million to fight, he said no. He ain't coming back. If they offered him $40 million and he hasn't come back yet, he ain't coming back. No. He in Dagestan.
Well,
I bet in Dagestan you can make $1 million and be good for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? In that place.
Well, if they offered Khabib $40 million, what they offer Jon Jones to fight Aspinall?
I think they offered, John said he wanted 30, and I think they got the money. They got 30 for him, and he said. They got 30 for him, and he said, hey, let me tell you something. I just told you, I'm barbecue meat. 30?
Hey, all of a sudden, you don't hurt
30? Shit. I might test positive after it's over.
And once under the cloud of steroids. That second fight, the knockout at UFC 214, was especially devastating. Cormier has admitted it was one of the lowest points of his life. Imagine training for months, believing you're fighting a fair battle, only to find out later that your opponent wasn't clean. For Cormier, it wasn't just a loss. It was a betrayal of the sport's integrity. Interestingly, Cormier does acknowledge Jones.
Bro, you retired, and then 2 weeks later, you talking about you in protocol again, testing protocol.
Yeah.
That pissed you off, didn't it?
So when he retired, it didn't. I just wanted I wanted to see him fight Tom Aspinall. I wanted to see him fight Tom
Aspinall that good?
He good, Shannon. He literally has everything you want in the heavyweight. He's big, he's physical, he can wrestle, he's fast.
Talent. He's never denied that Jones is one of the most skilled fighters to ever step into the cage. His fight IQ, creativity, and ability to adapt mid-mong fans, the debate is split. Many argue that despite the controversies, Jon Jones's dominance is undeniable, and he deserves.
Once said to me, oh man, I'm telling you, he could be like Muhammad Ali or MMA. I said, man, you're going crazy. I said, you're a person that works at the company. You're a person that people take your opinion seriously. You cannot be that strong on one side. He goes, I swear it's true. He's fighting a guy named Sergey, who had knocked out 10 straight people. Nobody can go around with Sergey. Tom Aspinall knocks him out in a round. Walks into the thing and hugs Michael Bisping. I was like, I said, Bisping, I thought you were like his advocate. You advocating for this dude. But I'm like, he's actually that good.
Right.
And then he beats up on Curtis Blades. He beats everybody. And so when I think about it, I'm like, okay.
Opponents. But while many analysts, fans, and fighters call him the greatest of all time, there's one man who refuses to put Jones in that category, and that's his longtime rival, former UFC double champion, Daniel Cormier. Cormier has made it clear that in his eyes, Jon Jones' legacy will always carry an asterisk. Not because of lack of skill, not because of poor performances, but because of the cloud of performance-enhancing drugs that have surrounded Jones throughout his career. And for DC, that single factor disqualifies Jones from ever being considered the GOAT of MMA. Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones shared one of the most bitter rivalries in combat sports history.